Hello and good morning, everybody. How are we doing this morning? It is Thursday. Just 2 more days left in the week. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited. We've got a lot of stuff planned for this weekend, so I'm excited about to tell you all about it on Monday in our Monday motivation. But for today, we are talking about Michael Hyatt's book, Free to Focus, and I wanted to kind of zero back in and kind of bring everything back together on this. So the whole idea behind talking about this book to begin with is, what does this have to do with fitness and what does this have to do with getting in shape and all that kind of stuff is the number one complaint or comment or hurdle or challenge or whatever word you want to use that I'm getting from people that say that, they can't, they can't exercise, they can't, find time to get a workout in or anything like that is time. They don't have time. They don't have they don't have 2 hours a day to work in the gym. They don't have time to travel to the gym and so forth and so on. And now, first of all, you do not need to work out 2 hours a day. That's all, that's all like 70s bodybuilding type, Arnold Schwarzenegger bragging kind of stuff. Like just to get into shape, to be into good shape, to be able to take care of yourself, you need like 30 minutes a day. And that can be as simple as a walk. You can go for a walk for 30 minutes. Obviously, the more exercise you get, the better until you reach a point of diminishing returns, of course. But 30 minutes of strength training a day is all you need. You can do up to an hour with a little bit of cardio thrown in there, and you'd be in great shape. So there's lots to it. Lots of options that you can do if you make just a little bit of time, So I thought, given that was the big complaint, I thought I would go back and go over this book, which was Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. And so we've spent the last 2 days kind of going over the book, kind of the concepts behind it. You can get the book on Amazon. It's a great book. Came out in 2019. It also comes with a planner. There's a planner available. So it's a really fantastic book. And we went over the first section, which was all about kind of his concept of finding the freedom and everything. And then, of course, the next step was in the productivity, which is what we did yesterday, which is in creating your vision and what's important to you and what matters to you and all that. And today we're talking about the big thing, which is to cut. We're going to cut. And, of course, I use my Kindle for everything. So cut is to delegate, eliminate, and automate. So this is actually I really think this is the big takeaway from the book. Maybe the big takeaway is the idea that productivity isn't necessarily doing everything. It's about doing what really matters. That's kind of the big takeaway from the book, but this is a close second, if not first, and that's the whole idea. You need to cut stuff. You need to eliminate stuff. You've got too much stuff on your plate. A lot of that stuff has to do with culture today. You've got stuff coming from you from every direction. You're just bombarded with stuff. So you've got all these things happening, and you've just taken up too much of your bandwidth. He says here is a great quote on, even if we hate to say no, we must understand that every yes is also inherently a no. So if somebody asks you to do something and you say yes to it, that's the whole concept of opportunity costs. That means that you're saying no to something else. So what else are you saying no to? What other opportunities are you saying no to? And he talks about, think of it like like gardening. A good gardener doesn't allow plants to grow wild. Instead, he consistently trims back the plants, cutting off everything that is dead and unhealthy. That's called pruning. So you need to measure your schedule, find things that you can cut, eliminate them, and prune them. Prune things that you don't really need to do. Keep track of your time. That's what I use the planner for. If you measure what you're doing, then you can manage it. And then over time, you'll start to see these little patterns. Oh, you know what? I spent 2 hours working on this thing that was kind of silly or kind of useless, or I don't really want to do. It's in that drudgery zone that we talked about yesterday. I need to prune that. I need to go to this person and say no. And there's actually, so here's a really cool section of the book. There's actually a whole section in here on how to say no, how to approach people, people that you like, and tell them no. How there's techniques in here like letting your calendar say no, which is to put everything on your calendar And then you can tell people, if they say, hey, could you, do this thing on Saturday? Could you help me move on Saturday? Then you can look at your calendar. You can say, sorry, I've already got Saturday planned for, I've got some training that I'm going to be working on, and I've already got that booked up for all Saturday long. Some of the other techniques is to acknowledge that your resources are finite, and to just let people know that you don't have time. There's a bunch in here: how to say yes, how to say no, how to handle people with objections, how to understand that most people, or some people, I should say most people, but some people are going to misunderstand you. They are going to think that, oh, you just think that you're too good for me, and that's okay. That's okay. You need to accept that. If you start saying no to people, that is going to rub some people the wrong way. All right, so you got to say no. You got to say no. You got to say no. The next step, the next big idea is how to automate. There's a whole section in here again on the cut section on automation. And automation means solving a problem once and then putting that solution on autopilot, okay? So this is the big idea behind automation. And this is where most productivity books go. So this is kind of an interesting idea, because when you look into this is when you get a productivity book, this automation section is pretty much all it talks about, because it talks about speeding you up, basically. Now here, when he talks about automation, he does talk about computer automation. He does talk about some apps. He does talk about some technology, but he puts that in the fourth position. There's other types of automation that are more important. There's self-automation, template automation, and process automation. So self-automation, that's the whole idea of doing rituals every single day. Like you wake up in the morning, you've got a little checklist, bam, 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 bam. Get to work, and you find your little checklist of the stuff that you need to do. Just bam, 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 bam. Just get them all done, and then set that every day so that you have that commitment that's taken care of every day. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. This is what I do every morning when I get to work. This is what I do before I eat my lunch every day. This is what I do. So that's how I get my workout in. My workout is it's right after this live stream, actually. So that's why I always wear my workout clothes here. So right after this, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to turn off the lights, and then I'm going to do my workout, and then I'm going to go right on. I'll be done by 7:30. That's when the kids go get on the bus and everything. So all that stuff is done. So it's all taken care of, and then so it's all ritualized. Then template automation is where you set out like a checklist. Like you do something, solve something complicated, like how to do it. Then you create a checklist so that from then on you don't have to think about it. You just do it. Okay, remember to do this, do this, do this. And then the process automation is figuring out ways for other people to do it for you, so that you can kind of hand it off and delegate it through documentations, how to optimize it, how to test it, how to do all kinds of other things. And then, of course, tech automation, which everyone's familiar with, how to create macros and all that. He goes into some of that stuff, some of the more technical stuff, which is pretty interesting. Then lastly, what he talks about is to delegate. And delegate's big. People have a big, big problem with delegation because, simply put, they are better than whoever they delegate to. And so they think, I can't delegate this to somebody else because I'm the best in the world at doing this. And that's true. But your resources are finite, and they will learn and they will get better. So you need to learn how to do that. There's this whole section in here on how to delegate, and different types of delegation. So some delegation, so the first delegation is like the simplest delegation, which is, you give somebody like the checklist, do this, this, and this, all the way up to the most complicated delegation, which is the step delegation level 5. He's got 5 steps of delegation. And the 5th step is when you tell somebody, do this, I trust you to do it, don't report back to me, don't tell me how it went. Don't do it. Just get it done, and then you never think about it again. And that's your goal. That's where you want to get. Or maybe you get an update on everything, every 6 months or something like that. How are things going every 6 months? So that's the level of delegation that you want to get to. Once you're able to do all of those things, then you get your time back. Once you get your time back, then you can start managing things properly, and you can get things put into action. Now, tomorrow, the next step that we're going to be going into is the act step. So that's step 3 of the book, act, which is to activate, consolidate, and designate. And that's pretty much going to wrap up our summary of the book, Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. I really, really think it's a great book. I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. It is very cool, and you can get it on Amazon. It's a great book. Hopefully, my little review here has helped you out with understanding it a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM or post a comment or whatever. I'll be happy to answer your questions on it, how I use the system and everything. And otherwise, I hope that you have a great day today. Please be sure to like and share the video if you like it. If you're not in my Falling Into Fitness group right now, please do join. Ask to join. I'll let you right in, and we'll just keep on trucking along. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.